Never fear of missing out by clicking that subscribe button and becoming another member of the Babylonian family. Hey there everyone, it's me, Songs of Rage, back with another legendary guide to bring to you, and today we are looking at the legendary pump-action shotgun known as the Darkness Charmer. Now, it's not much to look at, but I tell you what, this gun packs such a hidden punch that it's unreal. I honestly was blown away with the testing when I didn't think much of it, but when I got into it, when I got into some gameplay, just to give it a go, I was genuinely surprised, and it's actually brilliantly is. It's amazingly powerful, really. So what makes this special? Well, the tier 3 mod that's on this is called Grand Opening. Now, landing a hit with the first bullet in a magazine creates a powerful explosion dealing 258,466 damage in a 5-meter radius, and this refreshes itself every single second. So it's important to remember that this happens with every first bullet in a magazine. Now, obviously, there are ways that you can just constantly roll to be able to reload your magazine. There are ways to, with your kind of like rounds-based kind of skills and all that kind of thing when it comes to builds, you can refresh it that way, and that will put you back to your first bullet in your magazine. And obviously, there's just the conventional way of just reloading. Now, I wanted to pair this to make my first bullet in every single shot just as damaging as possible. So I paired this with the tier 3 mod called Scrap Grenade, which came from the Juggler, to be able to fire another shot for an anomaly projectile dealing another 226,000 points of damage in a 5-meter radius. So in theory, if I hit someone with this kind of grenade, I am going to be dealing almost up to 500,000 points of damage just from my mods alone, and that's not even factoring in my build. What amazed and shocked me about this gun is the fact that with it being a shotgun, I was expecting the shockwave from hitting that first bullet to emanate from yourself. So any enemies that are around you, similar to like if you've ever played Call of Duty Zombies with Electric Cherry, then the explosion would happen around you and anyone that's nearby would then get fried or would be able to get hit for 258,000 points of damage in this case. But in actual fact, it allows it to have a bit more of like a sniping purpose, to be able to deal damage from either further distances, because it actually emanates from the enemy that you hit with this from the first bullet. So any enemies that spawn in, along with other groups and all that, will then all get hit for this same amount of damage. And that actually, like I said, I hadn't tested this gun out before changing the other mod for the pairing and all that to Scrap Grenade. I actually shocked me as to how effective it was, because obviously if I'm within the range and I'm not trying to angle the grenade or anything like that, but I'm actually hitting both, then mobs were just being decimated. And you'll be able to see this in the background, that between the grenade and the Grand Opening, it kind of is a contrast to the actual shotgun, where the shotgun would just be brilliant for up close, and with obviously the mods are still pretty good up close, but the gun now has an option for range to be able to make it so that you can actually hit people from quite a distance away. Obviously that's all based on RNG for your pellets that come out of the shot, but it's still quite surprising as to how much of a range benefit you can get from this, to the point of it kind of rivals ARs in just that first shot. When it comes to playing around this tier 3 mod, I do think there are a few ways you can go. You could either just treat it as a normal shotgun, and then when you just come to genuinely reloading the gun, you then obviously got that added benefit from just landing that first shot. I don't think that's the best way to go about this, though. I do think it's actually worthwhile taking advantage of this. You do have the tier 2 mod to be able to roll, that will actually refill your magazine every single time you do that. Now, I do think that will get you close to the 1 second mark, but there may be a couple of instances where you actually are just a bit too early in that case, and I don't think that's actually the best way. You actually do have the refill kind of armor mods, so anything like Vampiric Mag, Toxic Lead, all that kind of thing, to be able to refill your magazine back to full. That's a good way, and that's obviously you'll see that in the background when I do actually put the blighted rounds from my Technomancer firepower build. You'll see this obviously every single time it refills, it just then instantly activates that new shotgun and that shockwave and just decimates enemies. And I do think that's the best way to go about it. I do think this shotgun is built around a firepower build that's designed to be able to constantly get things. Now, keep in mind that obviously you do need to hit someone to, well, in most firepower builds you need to hit someone to apply the status, so like bleed or toxic, to then get the second kill, which will then top it back up to full. That's something to be aware of, obviously, because of this tier 3 mod is actually got a very good chance of killing people, but as long as you keep something like that in mind, you should be absolutely fine. Talked about if the mod's any good, but let's be honest, is the gun any good, the one that's attached to? Now, this is one of the god rolls that I got given from the People Can Fly, and obviously the the inventory restoration that actually went through. So this is going to be possibly the best version of this gun that you could possibly get, and it's damaging. It is pretty good. Obviously, as we've covered in other shotgun videos, that my class isn't designed for this, but it still does make mincemeat out of pretty much any enemy that comes up. So it's a decent pump shotgun. If you are looking to use the tier 3 mod and then pair it with something else like Fortress or Killing Spree, Dark Offering, all that kind of thing, then yes, this is a brilliant place to start, especially if you are looking to go down the shotgun kind of route. But in terms of a Technomancer, it's probably just a miss for me. I don't think it's okay to have. It's okay to have in your inventory. It's not a bad mod, especially if you are constantly refilling your magazine. If you're a Technomancer, it may be better to have it on one of your AR builds if you are going for firepower. I would recommend that. It's definitely worth giving a go. Is it better than having your damage increased by up to 75% with Dark Offering or Killing Spree? Not really, but it's still something to play around with. It's better for crowd control in that kind of sense. I hope that brings you to a good understanding as to how good this tier 3 mod actually is. I think because there are things that overshadow it in terms of like increasing firepower or increasing damage output, these kind of like mods are going to be seen by the by. The only other one that's going to be not the case is Moaning Winds, but obviously there are builds that are around that focus around that, and obviously increasing that to such potential that it just one-shots pretty much anything in the game. But overall, this is an okay mod. I do feel like if there ever are any kind of nerfs to certain tier 3 mods, or if there are ever any buffs to tier 3 mods and this actually gets one, I do think it might actually make its way into the topper echelon or the top tier kind of side of things. So fingers crossed for that. It's definitely something to keep an eye out for, and it's definitely worthwhile having in your library. But that brings us to the end of it. So I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you've enjoyed the gameplay that's in the background. I hope you've learned something useful with ourselves. If you have, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe, say hi to the channel and all that kind of thing, and drop us a comment just to let us know that you've done so. In any case, keep yourself safe, keep yourself well, and I'll see you on the next video.